Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Heat Check. Now, I don't think I mentioned this on the channel before, but I actually grew up in Dubai. Many expats have, to be fair. It's a very popular destination, even when, I was born there. Now, that particular thumbnail is a very familiar scene. I just thought I'd check what the weather is like right now over there. So just for comparison, London, we already almost started winter a few days ago. It was already 4 degrees centigrade or kind of low 30s in Fahrenheit. And Dubai is already peaking at 38, 40 degrees. So it gives you an idea of what not even summer feels like over there. Again, Fahrenheit, that would be like hundreds plus. So very familiar scene, and I can see that Sleuth has checked the heat and found it very hot indeed. Now, today's puzzle is from James Sinclair's series, and just like I've done with previous ones of this particular puzzle, I've got two of them, just in case the first one just whizzes by. We know that there is a second one, just to keep us a bit more excited on our toes. So the first one is actually Heat Check, obviously, with a 2 out of 10 difficulty, and then the second one is quite a bit harder, I imagine, with 5 out of 10 difficulty. So we'll see how we get on with those, and take a look at today's rule sets. And first with Heat Check by James Sinclair, and the following set of rules. Not surprising, there's some thermometers there. I guess for the fog lovers out there, we're back with fog. First rule, normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Then we have correctly placed digits clears the fog around them. So if this cell, for example, was a 2, and it was actually correct, then all of these grey cobbled cells in fog will be revealed and hopefully will give us some more clues to allow us to proceed. We've also got killer cages. So got 2 cells that have to add up to 16. I'm going to skip going through the example there. And what else? Digits do not repeat in cages. So this particular one is obviously in the same row and box. There may be cages that actually go across rows, columns, boxes. And even though in this particular case, these 2 cells could repeat, in the particular rule sets today, no, they cannot. Then, of course, since we're talking about heat, this is a thermometer. Digits on thermometers increase from the bulb end. So if that's a 2, this would have to be 3, 4 or higher. If you imagine that's a 3, I don't have to go in a regular step. So a step of 1, I could have a step of 2, for example, over here, and that would be fine. You can see that thermometer is heading off into the fog. What I cannot do at any point is start decreasing on the thermometer. 4 is clearly less than the 5. I've broken the rule. So that's all the rules we have for today. As always, if you want to play along, if you want to survive this heat check, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. Right. Reason I obviously didn't want to touch that 16 kh is it can only be done in 2 cells 7 and 9. Can't have 9 halfway up a thermometer because that would have to be 10 or higher. So that's 7, that's 9. Excellent. Now, what is bigger than 7 and less than 9, because we've already placed it, that can only be an 8. We've got 8 inside a 10 kh, 2 cells, that's got to be a 2 to add up to 10. We've got what is almost certainly no more than 4 cells. 5 cells, because they cannot repeat, will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That adds up to 15. So 11 and 4 cells has to be no more than 4 cells, and it can only be 1, 2, 3, 5. No other combination would do. The 2, for example, clearly none of these cells, that's the 2. 1 can't be halfway up. In fact, that can't be 3 either, because that would have to be 1 and 2, a repeat 2 in the same box, for that to be 3. So that's 5. These are not 5s. So this is 1 or 3, this is 3 or 4, essentially because it needs to be ascending to get to the 5. What do we have in here? 4 and 6. Clearly the 4 is less than the 5, so that's the 6, that's the 4. And this is 7, 8, or 9. Lovely. 3 or 4, this would have to be 6 or 7. Clearly it is not a 6. That's 7, that's 3, that means that's 1, that's 3, that's 1, and we just keep going. Now the 25 kh, we've got 3 cells again that do not repeat. Now, 4 cells that do not repeat. Without the 1, these 3 cells have to add up to 24. Only way to get to 24 with 3 unique numbers is 7, 8, and 9. The 7 can't be this, oh, never mind. The 7 can't be this cell or this cell, so that is the 7. These are 8 and 9, that's not the 8, and that's 9, that's 8. You can see that thermometer, I mean, I can't see the bulb. The bulb is somewhere in here in the fog, I don't know where it is, but I know that's going up. And it's not, it's got to be bigger than 7, and it's not 8, it can only be 9. Lovely, we've got 12 in probably, yeah, it's definitely, hang on, no, I can do 12 in 4 cells, so I don't actually know. Never mind. Maybe we can think about this thermometer, or this thermometer. For example, the 8 can't be in either of these cells, the 8 has to be in here. Obviously, because the 8 would be bigger than the 7, it's lower down the thermometer, and the 8s would have to be here. So let's just think, this is not 1, 2, or 3, and it's got to be between 7, so this is 4, 5, 6. And that has to be smaller, and it's not 3 again, and it's not 2, and it's not 1. That can't be 4, because essentially I don't have any smaller digits left. This would have to be essentially 4 or lower, it can't be 5. I don't think it can either, yeah, it can't be 1, 2, or 3. So there is a smaller digit clearly off in the distance, or maybe more than 1, but this has to be 4, there's no other option. And that is 8 with 5 or 6, it is not a 6, so that's 5, 8, that's my 6. This has to be 1 or 3, it can't be 2, and again it's heading off into the fog. So there is a smaller digit, and therefore this can't be a 1, that's a 3, that's a 2, that's a 1, that's a 3 inside the 5 cage, fantastic. These are, I'm going to say 1 and 9, in fact we know the order, that's 9, that's 1. These we also know, I'm going to just pencil mark them all for the sake of convenience. So this is not 1, 2, 3, it is 4, 5, 8. Can't have 8 inside a 7 cell cage, regardless of how big it is. And this is 2, 6, and 7. Now, again, 7 inside a more than 1 cell 7 cage, that's nonsense. If it's 6, that's also nonsense, because that is a minimum of 4, that would already be at 10, so that's the 2. That needs to be a 5 because it is a 2 cell 7 cage, so that's 5. And we can clean up house a bit here. These are increasing digits. I don't know how long this thermometer is. I just know it's bigger than 5, and it's not 7, and it's not 8, and it can't be 9 because you can see the thermometer doesn't stop. So that's definitely 6. That's 7, that's 6. That is a 3 cell 13 cage at least. So yes, you can do 4 cells. I can do 7 or 8 here. It can't be 9. Don't know what the 13 cage is. We'll think about that in a bit. Right, with all of these down, is it time to think about this thermometer, or am I still ignoring it? Feels like I'm still ignoring it. Look at the 1s, we need a 1 in one of these cells. Clearly that's not the 1. Now, if that is 1, so I need to get to 12, so it would have to be 7, 5, or 8, 4, but that's assuming that this is 3 cells, and I can't make that assumption yet. In the interest of time, I'm tempted to move on. Yeah, I'm going to move on. Let's pencil mark a bit. In general, I tend to under pencil mark on thermometer puzzles, and I think it always comes out and gets me, so to speak. This can't be 1, so this is at least a 2. Therefore, this is at least a 3. I can go all the way up to 4 and 5. It can't be 6, and it has to be smaller than 7. I can do 3. I cannot do 4. So it's actually quite limited on this thermometer. It doesn't really help me. So let's think about it. 9 can't be here. 9 can't be there. 9 absolutely could be here and here. I haven't placed the 1, so 1 is not there, but it can be here, here, and here. And then 2, 3 is pencil mark, 3, 4, 5 is pencil mark. I mean, 2 is, again, too many options. Sorry, I did say something about 9 is not there. 9 can't be here because the next one is 7 and 8. 9 can't be there because this 9 is placed, so that's 9. Not that it's given me much, to be fair. That's not 9. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is not 1, 2, or 5. This is 3 or 4. This is not 3. So it could be 1, 2, 4, or 5. We'll think about the implications in a second. And this is not a 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 5. I'm not really seeing anything else to sort of jump onto, so I'm sort of latching onto this row for now. Now, 5 works because I can still do 7 and 1. So I'm not convinced that I can force any of this. And the 3, 4 pair was very restricted. It doesn't line up with the 2, 3, and this is still 3, 4, 5. So, yeah, this is not the path. 12 cage maybe, let's just think about it. Again, it can be more than 3 cells. It can be 4 cells. Now let's just imagine it is indeed 4 cells. Let's just think about the implications for a second. 4 cells for 12. I mean, like it could even be, no, it can't be 5, so it can't be all of these because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 15. So it's either 3 cells or 4 cells. So let's think through that. 4 cells is fairly restricted. It's not as forced like 10 or 11, but my thought process is it could be 1, 2, 3, 6, or it could be 1, 2, and 4, 5. These are the options. Now, could I make this work in 4 cells is the question. Could I make any of these work? And I suspect the answer to that is yes. So notice I couldn't place 2 and 3 in the 4 cells because I can only place one of them in here because of this cell, and I can place neither of them in here. So technically, if we are doing 4 cells, it has to be 1, 2, 4, 5. So if I just pencil mark this for a second and just remove options just to see what am I left with. 1, 2, 4, 5, is that correct? Yeah. Not 2. Not 2 again. Yeah, it seems possible. Essentially, that would become 3, because the 2 would be one of these 2 cells. And then that would have to be 4 or 5. So whatever this cell is would essentially have to be in here. And that essentially would mean the 1 and 2 are in there, plus a 4 or 5. What about 3 cells? Let's just think about that for a second, because essentially I just proved that 4 cells work. I may be missing some more obvious Sudoku. Chances are I am missing some more obvious Sudoku, but we started down this path, so let's just finish it. 3 cells, I couldn't do 1, 2, 9 because double 9 in here. So what else can I do? I could presumably do 1, 4, 8. No. 1, 2, 9. So 1, 3, 8 is what I meant to say. The 8 would have to be in here. The 3 and 8 would mean this is the 1, this is the 3, this is the 8. And you can see once again, both options are on the table. So I mean, this thermometer we haven't really used either, so I should probably think about it. No 9s. 9 can't be in any of these cells. Can't be halfway up a thermometer, so 9 is in one of 2 cells. 6 is in one of 2. I'm genuinely stumped suddenly. I'm not sure why. So let's think about the remaining digits maybe up here. I'm just going to actually, I'm going to do something incredibly unusual for me. Imagine the 6 is it's none of these cells. We know that. Imagine the 6 is in here. What does that do? That would force this to be 5. That would force this to be 4. That would be 9. That would be 7 and 8. Works. 6, 5, 4. This cell wouldn't be 1 or 3. It would have to be 2. And of course, oh, hang on. 6 is not here. 6 is there. So that scenario doesn't even work. 6 and 7 isn't there. So this is 8 or 9. Again, 6 was the minimum this could have been because I only have 5 and 4 available. 1, 2, 3 are gone. So this is 8 or 9. Maybe we should do some Sudoku in this column. So I have 9, 8, 4, and a 5. 5 is in one of these cells now. That's not a 5. Still can easily be 3 cells. Still can easily be 4 cells. Well, maybe we haven't thought about the 13 cage in 4 cells. And chances are it's got a few more options than the 12. So let's think about that. Now, I imagine if I don't have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is already 14. So I have to have a 1. Then I'm left with 3 cells that add up to 12. And that can be done in a few different ways. 2, 3 is 5 was 7. 2, 4, and 6 also works. Now I imagine if I don't use the 2 at all, I can do 3, 4, 5. That also works. You can see that the 6 is not here, the 6 is not there. So at least a 2, 4, 6 option is not really available. And I think this is it. These are my options if I go for a 4-cell 13 cage. So it'd have to be 7, because I've already got 7 or 8. So it'd have to be 1, 2, 3, 7. And the 3 is none of these. So the 3 would have to be here, the 7 would have to be there, and this would have to be a 1, 2 pair. Interesting. I am going to fully pencil mark this. I'm not... Right, so there's no 9 inside a 13 cage, whether it's 3 cells or 4 cells. And, oh yeah, 9 could still be here. It doesn't have... Yeah, it has to be here. Sorry. There you go. 9, 8. 8 gives me 4, gives me 8, gives me 7. And it is 4 cells, and goodness me, it was whatever it was. 1, 2, 3, 7. So that was the 3. That is not 4. And that is a 1, 2 pair. Rough memory. This is ascending. 5, 4, and 5. Excellent. This has to be the 2 that we discussed earlier. And this is 6, 7. That took a long time to spot. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's there. This is 5, 9. And this is 3, 4 something. 3, 4, 8. And not 3. I can't remember what we did with the 12 cage earlier. We know that 7 is certainly inside the 12 cage though, given the 7s, there's no other place for the 7. So I feel like that's going to eliminate the 4 cell option. Because 4 cells, even if I minimize everything else, 1, 2, 3, it would require a 6, not a 7. So given there is a 7, essentially I have 2 cells that will add up to 5 next to the 7, and it's not 3, 2, it's got to be 1, 4, 7. So the 1, 4, that's the 7, and this is a 1, 4 pair, which gives me a 2, a 1, not a 1, not a 4, that's 8, that's 3, 4 pair. Lovely. Bit slow there for me, but doesn't matter, it's done. This is 5, that's 9. I need 5 and 6, I'm going to say. Doesn't seem like they're resolved. Interesting. I don't know why, but like suddenly this puzzle felt like it got a lot more difficult. I mean, it took me a long time to reason about this 9, but even then, it's just harder somehow compared to other previous puzzles. Obviously, it helps if I actually pay attention to Sudoku. 3, 4 pair, that's a 2. Still doesn't help me with the 7, 8. We still need to think about the 13 cage, where there's again 3 or 4 cells. So yeah, it's trickier. I think it's fair to say that. So I need a 1, 4, which is not in this cell in this column, plus 6, plus something else, 5, 6 I'm going to say. And the 5 can't be here, so this is the 1, 4, 6, and this is 1, 4, 5, 6. Now, with the 13 case, this is going to start to get interesting. So I have oh, hang on, the 5 gave me 6 if I paid attention. The 5 gave me 8 and 5 if I also paid attention. Now, these are all known. So, well, known as in I can pencil mark them. They're 1, 7, 9. The 7 and 9 are up there. That means that this is 1. And I couldn't type 7 for some reason. That's 7, 9. This cell is also known. It is 4. These 3 cells are also known. It's not 1. I made a mistake somewhere. No, it's not. That was 2, excuse me. 1, 4, 1, 5. Right. I need 4. Well, 4 is none of these. So that's 1, 5, 6. I need 3, 8, 9. 3, 8, 4. Right. Given this is at least 7, there's no way that can be an 8. Right. So that's 3 or 4. Even if I minimize everything, 7 and 3, that's already 10. That can't be 6. So that's 1. That's a 5, 6 pair. These 2 cells need to add up to 12. And the only way I can see doing that is 9 and 3. So that's 9, that's 3. That means that's 7, which gives me 6 and 7. This 3, 4 is still not resolved. That's fine. Excuse me. 8, 4, 5, 6, 8. Lovely. Now we know that these are, I mean, you can actually see that thermometer is going this way and then to the diagonal. So we can do some of this. 2, 4, 6. I mean, this is clearly not the 6. This is clearly not the 2. But I think I can get away with 4 and 6. In fact, that is definitely a 6. That is not a 6. So this is a 2, 4 pair. That's a 4. That's a 2. That is 3. That is 4. That is 3. And this is bigger than 6 and less than 8. And less than 7. Sorry, not 7. So this is definitely 9. And then a bit of Sudoku to hopefully bring it home. Right, I'm not solving puzzle 2. Maybe I should, but I mean, like, 20-minute solve. Bit slow on my side. If you guys, like, absolutely smashed it, I'd be interested. And maybe I should feature a couple of puzzles for tomorrow. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle in the video. Another great one from James Sinclair. You know, there's already an advert there in the rules. More puzzles like this are artisanalsudoku.com. Bye-bye for now.